on divine power, so you believe that there's an infinite intelligence that controls you. So we all believe the same. We have the same faith and devotion. But your faith will really tremendously change because of that missing hormonal imbalance in your body. And if we start to talk about hormones, it's another story. It's another long topic to talk about. Peace and harmony is very important, of course. For the women, female menstrual cycle is very important. Fetal development for an expectant mother. Contraction pain-free. We have stories of women, mothers who deliver no pain. I repeat it, no pain. I was in one of the media interview, live TV, and one of the women called and testified immediately on live show how she delivered and how it shocked the whole hospital in a place in Oman called Ibra. We're about 1.5 hours from the capital. And it touched all the hospital, all the expectant mothers. They started to use the hot water therapy because they were shocked about the news. Of course, for the baby, it's the only nutrition for the baby. Right now, hot water is a source of creation and growth of every human being. Without hot water, no human being would ever exist in this world. Every human being, except on the first one, Adam and Eve, or whatever you call, but the first human being was created, and everybody knows. But after that, no human being didn't go through the fetal development inside the womb of his mother, encountered with the amniotic fluid, which is 99% water and hot at 37.5 degrees Celsius. Well, it's a glass of hot water, all right. Now we talk about the methods of drinking hot water. You go have a look quickly. This is very important. We were talking about the 300 milliliters, but because people are workaholic, people are busy, they spend most of the time in the office and outside, so we regulated it to 500 milliliters into 6 glasses. So in this case, you reach at least the minimum requirement is 3 liters of water every day. But you have here, in the morning, very important, unless your health does not permit you to stand. But this is very important. And you have before the meal, 15 to 30 minutes. Of course, we got this from Dr. Pat Mengelich, who's been talking about water therapy, water itself, and the importance of water in our body. But there's a full explanation about what's happening the moment we take a glass of water. But I substitute that into hot water with the same benefit, how very beneficial for the acidity, acid reflux, and all these gastroenteritis problems and so on. Of course, before bed is very important, about 1.5 hours, right? Okay, the hydrothermal towel therapy is a very simple method that you just use a hot compressed towel and immerse in hot water. Of course, you make sure you don't burn your fingers because it's almost boiled water. So this is actually very simple trick to do it. That you make sure that you abide to do it. That's very good for your skin. If anybody would see my skin, you'll be shocked to see it's like jelly. It's a baby skin. I'm 52 years old, I don't have any wrinkles in my skin. And that because I'm very disciplined with the method of drinking hot water and other therapeutic methods of hot water. It takes me 4 minutes every single day when I wake up to do the compress or the hydrothermal towel therapy every day. So, but these are the benefits, of course. All right. Now, let's go with the calorie. Scientists have been talking about calories. Everybody knows that calories. We need to, of course, calorie comes into 2 calories, the small calorie and the large calorie. But the nutrition calories, which is the large calorie, is measured. You see what is involved. When you talk anything about human metabolism, human biology, you'll find that the 4 aspects are involved. Water, hydrogen, oxygen, and energy. Now, a measure, the kilocalorie, which is a measure of a unit of energy, is the energy our body needs while raising the temperature of 1 kilogram. That's for the kilocalorie. And for the small calorie, 1 gram. Water from 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius by 1 degree. That's 1 calorie. Now, when you do exercise, you burn more calories. When you eat food, rich in protein and less calories, means you allow your body so that you don't have excess calories more than what more than what you burn, so that you don't have problems. You need to burn more calories more than what your body needs. Now, if you have to do exercise, you warm up your body. We'll be talking about thermogenesis, dilation of the blood veins. So the blood is at temperature raised and to distribute the energy throughout the body. And with these, every single kilogram of water with every one temperature, that is a calorie. So you do exercise, you burn more calories, but here you do naturally without dehydration. So you hydrate, you do the other way around. You hydrate your body plus burning calories naturally. I repeat it here. I'm a researcher, spend most of my time. I have no time to do workout. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I stop, but I can see my body, how does it look. I'm very happy with my body look. Right? If you see the hot water that we recommend, of course for children we recommend 40 degrees Celsius. And for newborn babies or below 1 year, of course mothers, they know how to check. All the mothers, you know that when you give milk to the baby, you cannot give milk at the room temperature. You have to heat up the milk and you have to test the drop on your palms, correct? And to make sure that the temperature is above the body's temperature, which is about 40 degrees Celsius for the baby. They cannot take cold milk, they cannot take warm milk. So on many mothers, they're afraid to give water to the babies. They say it will cause gas accumulation to the body, to the baby. Because if they give cold water or warm water, it should be hot water with the temperature set, and it should be with a different bottle. All right, but until age of 10 or 12, it's just 40 degrees, and the quantity is not doesn't have to be like that. Of course, it reduces completely with the children. Now, if you go with the first law of thermodynamics, what does it say? The change in a system's internal energy. Oh, sorry. Okay, maybe I jump. All right. The change in a system's internal energy is equal to the heat added to a system, the difference between heat added to a system from a surrounding and work done on a system on a surrounding. So if you add the heat on a system, so you add heat in your body, two things can happen. Either it changes the internal energy of the body, I mean, or it does work, or both. So your body needs energy to do its work. It needs to recharge. That energy, you can simply do it through the hot water therapy, because you have the water, hot water at 50 degrees Celsius, 122 Fahrenheit, and your body is at 36.5 or 37, so it's about 3.5 to 13 degrees Celsius. That is the amount of energy, the work done, that will transmit into your body naturally with hydration. And of course, since water is a covalent bond of hydrogen and oxygen, they split through the heat energy. Of course, we already will be able to, we hope that we will be able to get on Skype. We were able to conduct a lab test certification in the US and from Texas, from Dr. Will Hawkins, the president of Higher Science Research Institute. And he's already on Skype to give testimony about the lab test result. I'll just give a glimpse on here, and I hope that there will be time that he can come on Skype here, and he can explain to you what he also realized with the result that has been, the lab test has been done for 7 months, for 30 volunteers, with the energy, about the chakra, about the diabetes, and also with the vitamin distribution to the body. Right. What time is my time actually, so I can... It's 5 o'clock. 5 minutes. Oh, okay. All right, so it's a lot to talk about. Okay. All right. Okay. Thermogenesis, of course, dilation of the blood veins. Of course, production of heat, and potentially similar to increase energy expenditure and fat oxidation, with something to do with the fat burning. Of course, everybody knows about the obesity, which is also a problem of the weight loss, the weight gaining. And of course, you can have a look at that quickly. Is when we have more calories, we induce more calories in our body, more than what we burn. And it is very important about the cholesterol under the skin. The benefits of the sunlight, sunbathing. Of course, changing the cholesterol under the skin into vitamin D, and then of course there is a cycle that happens here that will reduce the cholesterol and deposit on the plaques of the blood veins, to recover the cholesterol in the blood, because the cholesterol in the blood will refill the cholesterol under the skin. So it's a processing that goes there. And of course, in this case, you reduce the cholesterol into the blood, deposit in the blood, so cholesterol can be reduced, and weight loss, which is related to that, we can cut down the weight loss. We cannot go with that, of course, with the benefits of vitamin D, with the sunbathing, again, about basal metabolism increase. Of course, dehydration in the body now, so when we are dehydrated, about 5% of energy loss, we lose about, body fluid loss, we lose about 25 to 30% of energy. So when you are dehydrated, you can feel it start to get weak. It's because of energy loss in your body. You need to start to hydrate yourself. It's a sign. So 15%, of course, it will be a death. Everybody talk about diet, but we cannot go with that, even though it's very important, because hot water substitutes the diet. So yeah, it goes with the diet. That means you cut down the food intake. You know what food you take, so you increase the quality of the food. You go with the proper food that you take, and you substitute with the hot water. But we cannot explain. We need to respect the time. Of course, this is the process. What's happening? Of course, how energy is produced from the food through the metabolism in our digestive system. But what happened here? The problem is, if you see here, the food we eat, of course, after the body gets used the energy and also for the vitamin, the proteins and all this, the proteins are broken down to amino acids, the fats into fatty acids, and carbohydrates into glucose, which is also needed for the body's energy. All these, of course, but they have the problem here, the toxic substances. These toxic substances are made up of methane, hydrogen sulfate, and carbon dioxide. That was a health threat in our body. So if you do not digest the food properly, or there's still accumulation of these toxic substances in your body, they will pose a problem to you. So we know that food can encounter about 80 to 90% of our health complications. Now with the hot water therapy, as you can see, all these four elements, they provide exactly, does the metabolism, since even here, too much water is needed during the metabolism system just to produce the energy. So now what hot water here? Hydrate and provide all these elements, and through naturally without not toxic substance. Unless if the water is contaminated. Unless it's, as much as it's a drinking water, safe drinking water, then it's safe for drinking, then you have the benefit. Your body gets exactly what you could get from the food into producing the energy. Of course, but we recommend to boil the water, most especially here. The water sometimes is not a little bit contaminated. So it's been found by scientific research that water, the moment reaches 70 degrees, most of the pathogens and all algae destroyed and harmful bacteria. But at boiling point, and then it really destroy all the bacteria, harmful bacteria, pathogens, microorganisms, and so on, become safe for drinking. We cannot talk about this issue, but of course, the time, it's all about related to weight loss. We need to respect the time. All right, you can have a look quickly. This is about, of course, the healthcare costs in the US. Of course, you need to check about your body mass according to your height to know that you are overweight or obese. That's right, start.
Hello, good evening. My name is Dr. Will Hawkins, Jr., Doctor of Pastoral Medicine, Master of Alternative Medicine, Licensed Clinical Therapist, Reverend, Scientist, and Inventor. My organization is called Hip Hop Therapeutics, and it is an up-and-coming hospital opening next year, mid-next year. My colleagues and I have the expertise of physicists, biophysicists, medical doctors, naturopathic physicians, including alternative medicine physicians, if you wish, chiropractors, and etc. We have experimented and conducted trials with hot water therapy for 7 months plus. And after this time, in seeing certain results, for example, hot water therapy seems to us to have the ability, or to afford the ability, of the body to absorb nutrients at a rate that it can't otherwise if you just drink regular water. Now, we believe that in part this is because of the body's metabolization of the hydrogen itself in different forms. Now, I'm sure I don't have to explain to this audience that we live in a hydrogen-based universe. And with that said, hydrogen is responsible for all of creation as we know it. It is the foundation. But how does this translate into the human body directly? It is my thesis that inside the body, speaking metaphysically and biophysically, the body, the soul as well, absorbs this hydrogen and it uses it as a power source, as an energy source to repair the blueprint of the physical body. And when you think in terms of the womb, how is the nervous system itself formulated? How is it developed? How do the atoms and molecules and cells of the body know how to organize themselves to form these highly complex systems? We believe, as many others around the world, that there is a higher form of intelligence that's responsible for the creation of the hydrogen atom itself. In short, when you think about hydrogen in terms of pH, and it's a complete shame and travesty that most people don't even know the definition of pH when we're talking about water. They don't realize that we're talking potential hydrogen. And in the West, when we speak about voltage, we think in terms of positive voltage, when it is really the negative voltage that gives us the pH that we need to be healthy. Case in point, operating voltage for a human cell is minus 20 millivolts. When you deviate from that and go towards the plus voltages, this is when we get sick. This is when the organs cease to function and etc. What hot water therapy does is replenish the negative voltages in the body that allows it to repair itself. And I'm not speaking of only on a molecular level or a cellular level. We're speaking on an atomic and subatomic level. We use some of the greatest systems in the world to date from the forefront of modern physics. Technologies that are listed as registered as medical devices around the world. Oddly enough, some of them not in the United States. Figure that. But anyhow, these systems, such as the Kirlian camera, the new GDV Kirlian camera, has the capacity to photograph different types of life fields or biofields that are emanating from the body itself on a deeper level. And we've been able to follow inside the body the path that hydrogen takes as one consumes hot water through the meridians and etc. So what I'm saying to you is that we need to pay more attention to nature and what nature has given us. It seems to me that we've gotten so far from common sense and preventative approaches to medicine that we've allowed a monopoly stronghold to take place And now we have a multi-trillion-dollar pharmaceutical industry that hasn't cured not one medical condition, not one disease. And this is acceptable. This is a complete travesty for us and for future generations. So what I'm asking is that other researchers, that other physicians, take it upon yourselves to conduct your own studies. Do your own research. We seem to have gotten away from that. Intellect is more important than intelligence. We seem to have gathered more intelligence, but have lost the capacity for intellect. And to make matters worse, we have lost our capacity for intuition and using the subconscious itself. Now, when you pay attention to physics, astrophysics included, and other sciences, we are told that at one point, the Earth itself was in a completely gaseous state. What does this really mean? That means that the planet itself, in its formation, utilized hot water to create life in general across the board. You wonder why there's so much sickness worldwide? Well, it's because we failed to take a common